Indy Mogul.
This week on Indy News, the Indy Machines release a behind-the-scenes video, BlackBoxTV returns, scary as ever, YouTube makes it much easier to become a partner, we focus on the different camera lenses I use, and we find out if Regret won any of the awards I was hoping for. Hey Indy Mogulers, it's been 18 days since I shaved, and I think I can call this a beard again. This morning, the Indy Machines released a behind-the-scenes look at their Cardboard Robots short film, and Eric and Justin do a great job answering lots of questions from their fans about the production. In October, we teamed up with BlackBoxTV for a thrilling month on the Awesome Directors Project. And now, this team, Anthony Zeiker, creator of the show CSI, and Tony Valenzuela, are creating new original programming on YouTube. So if you like suspense and horror, you have to check out the season premiere of Silverwood, which debuted on Friday, the 13th. A lot of Indy Mogulers are interested in becoming YouTube partners because you can make money off your videos and you have some special tools at your disposal. On Thursday, YouTube said they're making it easier for anyone to become a partner. While all of the special features like custom thumbnail images aren't available to everyone just yet, no longer do you need to become super popular to be a partner. As long as you have at least one video eligible for monetization, or advertising, you can get started right now. Finally today, a lot of Mogulers want to know what lenses they should use on their cameras. So let's take an in-depth look at the lenses I use and why. After last week's behind the scenes episode, there was a lot of great discussion in the comments, and Shockhawk recommended an episode about lenses. These days, it sounds like most Indy Mogulers shoot with DSLRs. Many of you say you use the Canon T2i, and I use the Panasonic GH2. The Canon 7D and 5D are also popular choices for filmmakers. And the greatest advantage of DSLRs versus camcorders is the ability to easily change lenses. So let's talk about lenses. I have three: a Panasonic zoom lens, a Sigma 30mm prime, and a Minolta 50mm prime. The standard kit lens for the GH2 is a 14 to 140mm zoom lens. The good thing about this lens is its range. 14mm is nice and wide, and 140mm is perfect for events like weddings when you need a close-up, but you shouldn't stand too close. It also has built-in optical image stabilization and an autofocus that's fast but quiet. I never use autofocus during a shot, but this is a perfect run-and-gun lens for news and documentaries, when you need to zoom in to get the shot, focus quickly, and handheld shots are less shaky with image stabilization. The downside is it's what photographers call a slow lens, meaning it has a small aperture that doesn't let in a lot of light. And when most lenses zoom in, even less light gets in. We measure this with a number called f-stop. The distance from the camera sensor to the lens is the focal length, and when you divide that by the diameter of the lens opening, or aperture, you get the f-stop number. The higher the number, the less light. So f4 isn't great, but that's the widest this lens can open. And when it's all the way zoomed in, it's worse, a whole stop down, meaning only half as much light gets in. Zoom lenses are handy, but a lot of photographers and videographers crave prime lenses, like my Sigma 30mm. Primes have fixed focal lengths, meaning they can't zoom, but because they're simpler, they often have wider apertures that let in more light. They're called fast lenses because more light means you can use faster shutter speeds. This lens opens up to f1.4. That's 3 stops higher than my zoom lens, so it lets in 8 times as much light. It works well in low light conditions, and a wide aperture also means shallow depth of field. Sometimes this blurriness, called bokeh, looks really cool, but not all the time. Right here, I stop down to f2, so the Indy Mogul image in the background isn't too blurry. Besides not having a zoom, the downside of this prime lens is a slow, noisy autofocus, and no image stabilization, so when handheld, it's pretty shaky. Also, because this particular lens is made for Olympus 4/3 cameras and my Panasonic is a micro 4/3 camera, I need an expensive adapter ring that lets the camera electronically operate the lens. If a DSLR filmmaker recommends a lens, let's say a 50mm, recognize that a 50mm will look way different on a Canon 5D than a Canon T2i. That's because crop sensor cameras, including my Panasonic GH2, have smaller sensor than full-frame cameras like the 5D. So to get the 50mm look on a T2i, you'd need a 30mm lens. I love the 30mm focal distance for video. It's just tight enough to make a great interview shot, and if I have time to zoom with my feet, I could shoot almost anything with this one lens. Often lenses are more important than the camera, which is why they can be pricey. My last lens is my cheapest, because my uncle gave it to me. It's a Minolta 50mm prime, which wouldn't naturally fit on my Panasonic camera, so I bought an adapter ring on eBay for $40. It's not an electronic connection, so I have to focus manually, and I needed an adapter with manual aperture control. It's tighter than my 30mm, so I often use it with my teleprompter. Because the talent is farther from the prompter, there's less noticeable eye movement. So let's recap. The Panasonic zoom lens has great range, image stabilization, and good autofocus. But it's expensive and slow. Sometimes I hate it, but I need it for events and documentary style shooting. The Sigma 30mm is my favorite lens. It's a nice, fast prime that's cheaper than other brands. Too bad its autofocus isn't great, no image stabilization, and it requires an adapter for my camera. If all I shot was short films, this could be my only lens. And the Minolta 50mm is cheap, but it's not the sharpest picture, and it's manually controlled. It's nice though, having a third option in my camera bag. And if you're looking to add a lens to your arsenal, consider buying used. There's a limited market for lenses, just photographers and filmmakers, so manufacturers often discontinue lenses pretty fast, making it hard to buy the model you're looking for. But people are always selling their lenses. You just gotta look. If you recall, there were 3 things I wanted to accomplish with my last short film, called Regret. Demonstrate the new video light, win on filmfights.com, and win a video contest. The trifecta. The bad news is, the Blue Scholars did not choose my video as one of their 3 finalists. But they had a lot of competition, over 100 entries in their contest. The good news though, today I found out I won on filmfights.com, the first time I have since 2005. So I want to thank everyone who voted. And even though I tried to do too much with this video, I've had success in video contests in the past, and I want to talk next week about how to improve your chances for winning video contests. So leave a comment, share your best tips for finding and winning video contests, and we'll talk about that next Monday. On today's playlist, I have Eric and Justin's Cardboard Robots behind the scenes look, and the premiere of BlackBoxTV's horror show, Silverwood. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you Wednesday for the Awesome Directors Project, and this Friday on MovieQuest.